year.
Yeah.
So you guys, we are back with another episode of Dr. Heidi and myself. And, really starting off this new year with where are we in supplementation? Where are we in taking control of our health? Do you really need all this stuff? But specifically from our last podcast, we left you guys off with the thought of omegas because we had a couple series on protein. And then we had some questions and we thought we're going to lead into omegas because some of you guys are like, yeah, I take this handful of pills. And if I could eliminate a few, that would be great. Do I really need these things? Are they really cracked up? And, you probably take stuff that, I don't know, Heidi, you don't even remember why you started taking them in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually what people come in. They'll have this whole thing and they go, well, I started taking that and then I stopped because I forgot why I was taking it. Do I need this one? I'm like, well, first of all, it's expired. Yeah. So, and that's the thing is there's a certain things that it's just harder to get in our diet and to guarantee that we're eating well enough and consistently enough to replete our body with those good nutrients. And so this is where supplementation comes in handy. And I think omegas kind of fall into that.
Yeah, I would definitely say they fall into that category. And specifically because there are certain supplements that maybe you need for a time or for something going on in your life, but aren't really like the staple of your core. And I would say that omegas fall into that category of it is something that probably all the time, not just winter, not just when you're not well, it's just something that the body really needs so that your cellular communication is optimal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that phrase. Cellular communication is optimal. There's so many processes in the body that are dependent on having plenty of your omega-3, 6s, 9s, even some of that arachidonic acid that everyone's so afraid of. We need a little bit of that because it does initiate inflammatory response, which if you fall down and break your ankle, you need that inflammatory response, right? But then it needs to turn off, and that's where these other omegas come in to do that. So it's important. There's so many processes that omega have an effect on and can help balance in our life. And it's so far reaching that it's just easier to do to get a supplement and think about how much we eat, the food we eat that are higher in those specific 3s, 6s, and 9s, and even the arachidonic acids, so that as we're eating, we kind of have an awareness of the balance of, oh, wait, I'm not eating any of those foods that have omega-9s in them, right? And so we can start incorporating some more foods with that so we create a balance. And that's the key.
So let's start because all of a sudden you threw out a couple different numbers. And I think people hear about omega-3, maybe they hear about omega-6. I don't think they hear about 9, 7, like what? There's multiple numbers. Isn't an omega an omega? So let's just start with kind of the basics and the differences. And I think historically, unfortunately, then we'll move into food because with the current kind of diet that most people are on, we're just being bombarded and getting our ratios so far out of balance that, again, that's why we need the 3s in helping us supplement.
Yeah. So there's these categories or these omegas that work in synchronicity, and they get broken down into certain pathways that affect inflammatory response, anti-inflammatory response, blood pressure, hormone balance, insulin balance. So they get broken down into these different categories. And there's a wonderful chart, and I should have this up here, but I forgot we were going to talk about omegas, or I would have brought it. But there's a wonderful chart that you can see how they're broken down. And so you have your omega-3s, everyone hears about those, and omega-6s, and everyone hears about those. And we usually get a lot of omega-6s and not enough 3s. And that's why there's the big push when you got to get your omega-3s, you got to get your omega-3s, because those are the most anti-inflammatory. Omega-6 can go either way. Then you have your omega-9 and your omega-7s. The omega-7s help with triglycerides specifically. There isn't really a supplement. There's only one company that I know that has a targeted omega-7 supplement, and I'll just kind of reserve that for man, we got to get a hold of these triglycerides, but triglycerides are about insulin. So we can use, we can use all of the omegas, get a nice balance of omegas. We're going to produce the omega-7s to help with the triglycerides anyway. So this is when you talk about omegas, it's the good fat.
I
So
was just
when
gonna say, let's
people are
exactly good.
right. So people were saying, well, what's good fat? Well, the good fats, it's like olives, fish, avocados, borage oil, sunflower seed oil, evening primrose, these kinds of things. So it's about the good fats. Getting that balance of good fats really helps nourish our bodies and help us function quite effectively. So you get a lot of your omega-3s in fish. So fish oils, cod liver is one of the highest, and you'll get it in chia seeds. So I always encourage people, there's a lot of benefits with chia seed pudding. It's a great snack. It's easy to do. So those you're going to get your omega-3s, your omega-9s. This is where you're going to get your olive oils. Olive oil is one of the best things to reduce your cholesterol levels. No other oil does that, but you put olive oil all over everything, that good fat actually reduces the fat of cholesterol. Avocado, almond oil, peanut, cashew, walnut, and that kind of thing. Those you're going to get your omega-9s. And your omega-6s are going to be more flaxseed, sunflower, pumpkin. Pumpkin has a lot of tryptophan in it, so it's great to do that before sleep. Black currant seed, borage oil, canola oil. If you can find a really clean canola oil,
Good
good
luck on
luck
that
there.
one.
But right. But this is why this is what happened is everyone went to, oh, I can't have any fat, so I'm going to go to canola oil. And so we got this big swing where everyone was high in their omega-6, which when you look at that chart and how it gets converted, boom, too high in that level, you don't have your enough of 3s and 9s to pull it down. You're going to then activate that arachidonic acid inflammatory marker that we get from the bad fat. They're not bad fats because we need them. You're going to get arachidonic acid is in meat, eggs, butter, and shellfish. This is why they're dangerous. I'm not going to have meat anymore. We need this arachidonic acid. We need some level of that because when we need an inflammatory response, we need it to activate. We need it to turn on, activate what we call the prostaglandins, the whole prostaglandin pathway that then turns on reactive oxygen species, and it calls in and recruits all those mechanisms we have in our body to say, hey, there's a problem here. Let's fight this infection. Let's fight that inflammation. Come on, everybody. We don't have enough of the good fats or the fats from meat, egg, that arachidonic acid. You don't get that signal. And so you don't get as efficient immune response. Was that too much information?
No, that's not too much information. And what's wild is that the body is so intuitive. The body is so smart. The body is the best AI machine possible that knows what to do. It knows what to do, you guys. We are AI inside of us if it's given the right instructions. And I think that's kind of this whole, so many people eating out trans fats, bad fats, so much canola oil is used everywhere in restaurants that the 6s become so overpowering. And it's exactly what you were just talking about. And hence, if everybody's not out there eating fish, and again, now in our world today, people are a little bit concerned about the fish and where it is and everything because of mercury and the plastics and so much other things, which there's never like a pure anything. It's so hard, right? So we have to, play our cards right. But that's why if we're not eating those other sources, it really is essential to supplement with omega-3 and a little bit of maybe something else. Right? I mean, the one I use, I know has a little bit of 9 and 7 in it too. It's not just 3 because we need them all.
You want more of a comprehensive one, not just the omega-3, which was the big push, but you want more of a comprehensive one. And there's different levels of that as well. And so, if a woman is dealing with a lot of hormone swings and a hormone shifting, you're going to need more of these on board but in balance. And so this is where supplementation could be super helpful. Like, okay, we're going to get you balanced with supplementation, but here's the foods we want to choose to then support you. So maybe in the future, we can reduce the dose of supplementation and the cost of supplementation because you're really eating a more balanced omega diet. But to get you there, supplementation is the way to go.
So two things, Heidi, I want to ask about in that. So one, I really want people to understand that we're supplementing, and what we're supplementing is really part of what we eat. So think about it as your grocery budget. Careful, be really careful. Like, this is my supplement budget. You're taking all of this because you're not getting it in your foods. So really it's part of your food. Okay. So be careful, because some people are like, I spend $300 a month. You guys, I spend $100 a month, but it's really, it's part of my grocery bill, is how I think about it. My wellness bill. Right. But in that, let's go down the road, because yes, there's many people that listen to us, but a lot of our following is women, and women in the age of, right, starting to go through this midlife, premenopause, perimenopause, that whole area. I know for me, even with my genetics, looking at my brain health, that the aging woman and cognitive decline is a very top concern of mine, and one that I want to talk to many women about. We're seeing more and more of it. And one of the easy things, there's so many things that we can do, but one of them to help protect our brain through this process is to really be sure we're taking all of those balanced omegas, correct?
Exactly. Our brain is 70% fat. So the good fats are going to get in, cross that blood-brain barrier. They keep us more supported. They're also the prostaglandins that we get from the omegas really they're profound in their support and balancing our hormones and the big hormone shifts and swings. Because that shift and swing in our hormones is very inflammatory, these omegas come in and put out that fire and get it more balanced. So the swings are not so much. They're not like, oh, I have a hot flash, now I don't. Now I'm not sleeping. Okay, now I can, right? All of those things. Oh, my joints ache. I feel so old, right? It's these hormone shifts, and until your body adapts, the omegas, all those prostaglandins, all of them in balance, are very effective in supporting all of those things that happen when we get these big hormone shifts, mostly anti-inflammatory.
Mostly anti-inflammatory. So I love that, lady. So again, look at your food, look at your omega. So the other thing I think, Heidi, maybe let's talk a little bit about is, I'll say athletic performance, and I'm not really talking about elite athletes right now, but I'm talking about all of us in our athletic routines and wellness, right? The importance, because you were just sharing a little bit about joint health, is I wasn't amazed, but it did surprise me a little bit that we as a family always take a ski trip. Typically in 7 days, I'm skiing like 5, right? And we ski pretty hard. So usually like 5, maybe 6, but in there I usually take a day off. But this year, how it worked of getting like my kids at the airport and this day, and this person couldn't go, and so I needed to go, is I never had a day off. And I was kind of like, okay, I'll be the driver, because the kids didn't want to drive the car in the snow and whatever. I'll just drive. But then once I'm on the mountain, I'm like, well, I might as well go. I'm here. Like, what am I going to do, right? Okay. So my point is, did I feel some muscle soreness? Of course, because it was, I've been working out, but I hadn't been skiing, and skiing hard, a new activity. So it's with expect that I would have some soreness. However, I literally was able to ski hard for 9 days. And I thought, how is this possible? And I'm like, you know how it's possible, Kelly. I've been really regimen on my supplement routine, on eating well and taking all of my supplements as part of my food. And you guys, I for a lot of times double up on my omegas because of an aging woman, where I am, joint health, brain health. And so I thought, you know what? Sometimes we don't know things are working or not working until we just go, I did this. I don't think if I wasn't, and I'm not just saying it's just omegas, of course, but I'm like, my knees weren't hurting. I wasn't having any other joint pain new. I just was like, this is cool, right? Yeah. To be able to do that. And I will say, I told my kids, this may be the last season that I can like have the edge on you kids. Although I think I've already lost it with my son. He snowboards, and oh my gosh, the speed, the daredevilish. No longer am I the daredevil, right? I'm like, my risk level has gone down.
That's a good idea, Kelly.
And this is funny. On the we keep like a family app that we track who's done the most vertical, who's done, like, talk about competition, right? How many runs, the level of difficulty of the runs, and the fastest speed. Well, the Icon Pass tracker had, for liability reasons, had to take off top speed.
Oh,
I was all, interesting. So none of us could track speed this year. And I was like, shoo, because the kids were just like, that's what they want. I'm so done with speed. Oh my gosh. So I'm like, that's cool. But anyways, my point is, you guys, is you don't want to wait till your hot flashes are so severe. You don't want to wait
yeah.
till your joint health is failing. And so it is really, I would say, anybody starting to get older, anybody that's really concerned about what, and what would you say, Heidi, if you could list, like, because it's, again, it's cellular communication. So honestly, it's everything of the body. But if you were to list the top 3, 4, 5, either systems or pathways that omega is really going to support, and maybe you would say absolutely for these things, is you'll either notice it or it's the most profound in just supporting these systems, just so people understand, like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, brain's the first one, anti-inflammatory. So it's going to affect cardiovascular. I mean, those three things are going to be biggies in the support with the omegas. You know, when we say aging women and hormone shifts, truly with women that have painful cycles, PCOS, polyovarian cystic syndrome, getting your prostaglandins up at a higher level absolutely is a game changer for those people, for those women as well. So that's a side note, because it can go hormone shifts younger or hormone shifts older. But the three top things for just overall health and well-being, it's going to help your brain function better, be better, recover from day to day better. Cardiovascular, you're just going to have better vasculature, better blood flow, less impeding blood flow, you know, dangerous things. And then you always have a mechanism that's ready to shoot down any inflammatory issues going on. Shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. And it's there.
Wow, you guys. And I think, I mean, that's super important, Heidi. One, we are seeing cognitive decline in women at rapid rates. So you guys, really key. Number two is we don't talk about heart attacks in women, right? Heart health in women is really under spoken about, but it's a big, big deal.
Still one of the leading causes of death in women is
Yeah.
heart attack. And no one talks about it. Because when a woman comes in with pain or symptoms, they're not taken seriously. Get your omegas, take care of your heart, because yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And then three, talking about inflammation and that cascade effect is, if we're in a season right now that sickness can be higher, right? We're in a season that if you're, I hope you are learning to de-stress and run your body better. But if you run high of stress and don't regulate yourself, right, then that cascade gets out of control and down the line could lead you to other issues of your own body in a where your cellular stress defense mechanism is now not working right. So that could lead you to things like autoimmune, potentially cancer, potentially things that normally your body can combat. And right now, that cellular stress defense is like, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. And so you don't want to wait till all of a sudden that's what your defense system, it's not ready anymore, or it's on overload, that it's not working right. So that is like a home run of those three things, Dr. Heidi, of get these foods in your diet, but on top of that, they're almost in our world today very difficult to truly get everything we need without a supplementation of an omega.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Kelly and I, we're very cognizant about the food we eat, the amount of food we eat. We're like in it to win it in terms of food. And I still take a good, clean omega supplement because I know I'm shy of that mark, even as well as good as I eat. I know I'm shy of the mark with the demand on my body from day to day.
Yeah. Wow, you guys. Well, when you go, I want you to go home, open your drawer, open your cupboard, wherever you keep your supplements. Look and see if you still got your omegas, and look at the expiration in there. Okay. Be careful, because that is really important. Because it just,
Another important thing, I don't mean to interrupt, but before we go, if your omega tastes like fish, it's rancid. Don't take it. I don't care if you just bought it. There's a lot of rancid fish oil out there on the shelves, right? So smell it, taste it. If it smells good, clean fish oil does not smell or taste like fish.
you guys, that's perfect, because so many people I know are buying the sources at cheaper places. I won't even name names, right? But they want a bigger quantity so they can just pay less. And all I can say is people are like, oh, I burp fish burps, or it tastes so fishy, or it's so gross, I can't take them. That's to Dr. Heidi's point, is then you're taking something that is already rancid. So it's not giving your body what it needs. And if anything, it could be hurting your body, and not helping your body. And so be very careful. You don't want to cut corners when it comes to your health.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
Especially your omegas.
We hope this was helpful as always. Please let us know, like, what do you want to know about? What do you want to learn? We'll do an episode on it. We'll answer your questions, but if we don't know, we just help to give you the most current information to help support your health to truly live an extraordinary life. So, Dr. Heidi, as always, pleasure.
Pleasure
Thank
being
thank
with you.
And until next time, everyone, we'll see you soon.
Take care, everybody. Be well.